Welcome back, Star Wars fans, to episode 28 of Ronald's Reviews, and today we're going to take a look at my Wave 2 Star Wars Retro Collection action figures. Now, I know I'm a little bit behind and most people have done the reviews on this line already, but my pre-order has only just come, so I'm going to do that today. Unfortunately, they did not arrive unscathed, so I am going to address that briefly at the start of the video, but I hope you enjoy the review, guys. I hope you watch it all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it, and as always, cue the march. Okay guys, so before we get to the review, I just want to say that this is my issue. This box right here is where I feel the problem is. Now, I got these figures from Star Action Figures, and I just want to make it clear that this video is not in any way negative towards Star Action Figures. They shipped my items in an outer box, a shipping box, with bubble wrap inside, where this was wrapped inside in the bubble wrap, and that is exactly how, as a collector, I would expect things to be shipped. So this is not in any way derogatory towards Star Action Figures. It's towards Hasbro, because this is the box that is the problem, and this comes from Hasbro. So when they are packed, this is the box they initially go in, and I'll tell you my issue. Let's get that out of the way. So I've been lucky and unlucky in the fact that when you look at those, so this is my Lando, when you look at that figure, on the face of it, that looks fine. I've been lucky that I've seen people with a lot worse condition to their figures when they arrive. I've been unlucky because when I do that, now you can see the problem. Now, that is the worst one. I've been fairly lucky that the rest do have an element of damage, but that is the worst one. So as you look across that top line, you can see there how it's all bent in on this corner, bent in and sort of warped across that line. Yeah, as well as on that edge there, you can see. And I'll tell you where I feel the issue is. The issue is with this box. And I say that because this box, if you're concertina the figures, you'll all know if you've got them in this box, they do fit that way in this box. But that way, the box is barely wide enough. And I'll explain why. If you open the box and get one of the figures and try to put it inside, just get it back on, you will see, and get it into camera, so if I tried to put the Lando figure in, it barely, you can just see, it barely fits. To the point where you can just see in that bottom right corner, to get it to slide in, the card back has to be bent. Now, in my opinion, that should now fall. I am not holding that figure, it should fall into the box, and it's jammed. Unless you bend the card, and you can just see in that corner, it's bending, which means to then get it in, you have to push it and force it to the point where it's jammed into the box. The box is too narrow. Yes, you can get the figures in, but that doesn't mean they fit. I've got a 15-year-old Star Wars t-shirt that I love and I will not get rid of. The size is medium. I haven't been a medium since I was 25. I'm now 41. I can get in that t-shirt still. I can get in it if I breathe in and drag it onto my body. But then it looks like a crop top once it's on. But I can still fit into that t-shirt, or I can get into it. Does that mean that t-shirt fits? No, it doesn't. But I can get into it. Just because these figures can be gotten into this box, just so because you can get them in the box doesn't mean they fit, and that's the problem. All it needs is a few millimeters bigger, but you end up with cards like that because they are forced into that box. The edges have to be bent to get them in. I'm just going to bring Han Solo in. Look, again, you look at it head on, it looks fine, but then once you look at the line of the card, look, bent, and it has to be warped and bent to get into the box. Now, I mean, it's not in bad shape, but you can see, look, that corner especially. I mean, we're talking millimetres. We're talking millimetres. This box only needs to be a few millimetres wider, and they can avoid that. That can't be a huge expense to Hasbro, and with a few millimetres extra, you could possibly even get some tissue in there just to do a bit of extra packing, a bit of extra padding. But for me, as a collector, especially if you're not going to open them and you want to keep them in the packaging, that, a bit different if you're going to open them, but that is not acceptable. That is not acceptable. And all it takes is to make that box a bit wider. They're forced into that box to get them in. Just because they can be, all six can get in the box, because they can shove them in the box, doesn't mean they fit. And that's what ends up happening. So Hasbro, sort that out. That box, millimetres, we're talking millimetres. Don't tell me there's a huge cost in that. And that will avoid that issue. Okay, so that being said, I just felt that needed saying. Let's move on to the review. Okay, so let's start with Yoda. And there he is. So they've gone with the light green Yoda with the orange snake. I actually like the orange snake as opposed to the brown snake. Unfortunately, I don't have an original vintage Yoda to compare this to. I have done with later figures, so I'll show them later in the video. But love that card back image. I really do like that image. It's nice and crisp as well. It looks really, really good. I will get rid of the retro collection stickers. They don't massively offend me. I know some people like them, some people don't. They don't massively offend me, but I want to see the image. I don't want a big, massive red sticker over that image. It's iconic stuff. I want to see that. So, I mean, if the sticker was a bit smaller in one of the corners, maybe slap it right over the image on that card back, which is why I removed them. But yeah, really happy as well that they've put the legal jargon folded up at the bottom. Again, still not ideal, but miles better than folded up and behind the figure, which really does affect the displayability. But yeah, love that. Still not massive fan of this weathering around the edges. They've done that again, which I was hoping they wouldn't, but yeah. So this is actually my first 3.75 Yoda. I would have liked to have seen them try to replicate the back of the card. So like originally you could get, you know, collect all 96 or collect all 12 or whatever. I would have quite liked to have had the images of the current 14 available. So collect all 14 with that image on the back, that collect them all style. If they're going to try to recreate the packaging, why not do it properly, do front and back? I would have liked to have seen that, but I think they've done a good job of these though. I do think that's a really good Yoda. Yeah, really happy with that. Okay, let's move on. So next one is Princess Leia in her Hoth gear. Now again, I don't have this in the original vintage figure to compare it to, but I do the rest, so we'll have a look and compare. But yeah, really do like this. Again, I think the image on the card back is iconic. I think that's a fantastic image, nice and crisp. They've really cleaned that up. I think that looks great. I'm going to have to get this in the vintage line. I think she's a fantastic figure. But yeah, I think they've done a really good job with these. Again, folded up under the feet for the legal jargon, much better than behind the figure. But yeah, I really do like these. I actually think the Wave 2, I think I prefer them to the Wave 1 figures. Yeah, really do. Again, same on the back. All the backs are identical. I'd like to have seen the collect them all thing on the back, but yeah, really, really pleased with that. I'm not going to get into the packaging now, all the if there's any damage, because I've done that at the beginning. They're all damaged slightly, but yeah, love that figure. I'm going to have to get that in the original line. Moving on, we've now got Han in his Hoth gear. Now I'm just going to grab that at this side, and I'm going to bring in my original Han. So let's just have a look at the likeness. How good a job have they done? Well, straight away you can see the face on the retro line is a little bit pinker, certainly paler on the original Han, if we can see that. Definitely pinker, but after that the details look pretty good. You've got everything else right. The shade of the trousers look good, shade of the jacket looks good. Yeah, I think that's pretty spot on, that. Just the face, I think. The face is far pinker on the retro version, but yeah, I think they've done a really good job with that. Yeah, really happy with that one. Okay, so the next one is, let's do Lando. So again, they've got that pretty much bang on. Let's just bring him in. So this is my original vintage Lando. So how good is the likeness? So we've got no teeth, no white teeth, no white eyes. So yeah, there is quite a big difference in that one. Everything else looks pretty spot on with the colours, the cape. But yeah, the biggest difference there is, as you can see, in the face. Now, I know they did in the original line, they did do a non-white teeth and non-white eyes version. So that's obviously the one they've gone with, but still a pretty good likeness. I think they have done a really good job with these retro figures. I know some people aren't keen on them. I think they're really good. But again, classic image on the card back. I'm going to take that sticker off again. They always slap it right over the centre of the image. I just think, you know, this packaging is iconic, and the images they use are so famous that I just don't understand why the sticker won't be a bit smaller and put it in the corner. But yeah, happy with that. And I've saved my two favourites till last. So we're going to go with Luke in his Bespin fatigues. So let's just see how good a likeness they've got. So this is my original vintage Luke. They've gone with the yellow hair instead of the brown hair or ginger hair. And they've gone for the non-attached, if you can just see that, the non-attached lightsaber to his belt. Whereas mine is attached, my original vintage one. Yeah, again, the likeness is pretty good. I think the paint on the face is a little bit less glossy. It's quite a glossy finish on my vintage Luke, whereas on the retro Luke, it's a bit of a fairly matte finish. It's not massively shiny. But again, fantastic looking figure. I think that the plastic they've started using is a bit softer, but I mean, mine aren't coming out of the packaging, so... not a fan of that card back image though. I love this figure. It's probably my second favourite figure in the whole line. But there is an alternative image for Luke Bespin, and I actually prefer that image. I wish they'd have used that. In fact, that image looks like it's getting even worse now. It's just so pixely and blurry. I would have much preferred to see the alternative image on this card back. But they look like they've done a really good job with the figure again. That does look really good. So yeah, really happy with that. And last but certainly not least, the one that everyone is clambering for, of course, Mr. Boba Fett. So pleased to get my hands on this, because it looks like this is going to be very difficult to get, and those scalpers are going to murder us collectors for this. You've even seen images of potentially shop staff taking them out of the boxes before they even hit the shelves, but I've managed to get mine now, so I'm happy. Let's have a look and just put him next to my original vintage Fett. I mean, yeah, look at that. I mean, there's barely anything to pick between them. They've done a really good job of this. The green is virtually the same. They've gone with the black belt instead of the brown. Yeah, really happy with that. Again, love the card back image, but I'd quite like to have seen an image pulled from the movie. So like the image they use on the Tri logo, I know they're trying to replicate the old packaging, but I do prefer movie images rather than the sort of animated graphics. I mean, that's great, don't get me wrong, it's iconic again, that image, but I quite like the movie images. But yeah, so happy to get my hands on this guy, because like I say, it looks like it's going to be difficult to get for the price you should be paying. But identical, they've done a really good job. In fact, I think that's probably the best one for me, not just because he's my favourite character, but I think they've done the best job of replicating the original Fett. Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, really happy with those. Like I say, guys, I know I'm a bit behind. Everyone's got these now. My pre-order's only just come, so I've done my review now. But yeah, really pleased. So there we go, everybody. Apologies for the negativity at the beginning. I don't like to be negative in my videos. I always try to be positive, because I feel there's enough negativity in the world at the moment, especially in the collecting community as well. So I always try to be positive in my videos. I just felt that needed saying. But I hope you enjoyed the review. Please consider leaving a like and subscribe. It really does help the channel. Hit that bell notification so you don't miss a video. Please leave any comments or questions in the comment section below. I do enjoy getting back to people, and I try to reply to everybody. And as always, keep collecting, and I'll see you on the next video.